$9.4 trillion just in 2024 is what is at stake due to cybersecurity threats. I know this is one of the biggest problems right now in the industry, and today we are with Alexi, which will tell us more about it, that we will actually go deeper on it. So first of all, I want to understand what is TPRM for the audience that is not that wise on the subject.
Well, Sebastian, that's a big number, indeed.
Yeah.
So, what is TPRM? TPRM is a very complex topic. It's a very wide topic,
Mhm.
actually. The idea is try to understand what are the risk linked to our suppliers. I mean, we all depend heavily on suppliers. Gartner say over 87% of our business processes are dependent from third parties. So understanding the risks that are linked to third parties is essential.
And do you think this applies to all type of businesses, or is it just for big corporations? What are your thoughts on it?
I think it applies to all businesses and particularly even to smaller ones because the smaller you are, the more you rely on third parties. I mean, third parties can be just Microsoft. Just the fact you use Microsoft 365 make you heavily relying on it, right?
Yeah.
So it applies to all organizations. Any, depending any kind of business you do, it will apply to you. Of course, if you're making shoes on an island, depending from only what you collect, I would say, yeah, you're pretty safe. But most of us,
For most of us, we have a
it's
problem.
yeah, it is. It is an issue for sure.
Okay. And what are your thoughts on, I don't know, like, should businesses start investing on it right away? Because, of course, we are talking about small businesses, we are talking about medium businesses. Priorities tend not to be there. But we are seeing, and this is just statistics, though, we are seeing higher and higher threats in the industry.
Well, look, we've been advising businesses for over 25 years, and it's always a challenge. You have limited resources,
Mhm.
limited budget, and most of them see third-party risks not as their top priority. Top priority is, make the business run, keep the lights on, pay the
Yeah.
salary, obviously, right? Well, the thing is, when you look at the sum of risks that we have, particularly cyber risk, you will
Mhm.
see that third-party risk management is one of the top risks right
I
now.
saw the other day, now that you mention it, actually, I saw Google got leaked. Google, which I assume they have security standards like nobody else, and even they got hit. So I guess the smaller you are, the less resources you can put on this, but the higher the risk. Well, do you think the businesses actually face, I don't know, bankruptcies due to these kind of things?
Well, you see, the difference between Google and the next door company with, I don't know, 250 employees is that Google is very resilient. So even if they get hugely fined, what it probably will happen, and maybe they lose some of their clients, they will still be there. Now, if that happened to the company next door, that's probably it.
We say bye bye. Yeah, that's a big issue, I guess.
It is a big issue because it's for most organizations it's complicated to manage third party risk. It takes knowledge, resources, time. So it's a real challenge. It's a real issue. But the fact is, we are heavily reliant on third parties. So yeah, we have
And
to do something about it.
I heard that you guys from Supply Shield, you came up with a solution for all these challenges. Could you tell us a bit more about it?
Well, the idea is how can we make it simpler? How can we make it easier for companies to be able to manage the third party risk and to start complying as well with regulations? The
Mhm.
thing is, a lot of these companies have also to comply with laws that force them, in a way, to monitor the third parties, right? So we thought about an approach. And as I always say, you can always buy a tool. There are many tools on the market,
Mhm.
but a tool without a process is nothing. So the step of understanding what you need to comply with, how you need to address this risk, and then addressing them, monitoring them is a key step into implementing third-party risk management. So
I
basically, that's what we did with Supplier Shield. We try to make this process easy for our clients.
and I mm, forgive me if my understanding is not the best, but this compliance is always evolving, and do you cope with this? Because I think it's a major issue, especially for companies to new regulations, new compliance, new things that they need to check every single time. And I guess this is very time consuming, must be costly as well. So how do you guys solve this for them?
You see, what we see with most of our clients, they have three major issues. One of them is the one you're talking about, is the fact that the landscape is always changing. There are always new laws, new regulations coming in that you need to follow up with. And that's kind of time consuming and complicated because if you don't have experts in house to help you with that, then you don't know what to do.
Yeah, clearly.
So, yeah, this is basically what we do. We're going to help everyone, the company next door, to be able to understand what they need to comply with and how to become compliant with that and how to monitor the risk associated with their third party risk management.
But you mentioned before that you're not the only party in the field. What would you say to someone that you are trying to offer in their service? Why are you different from them? What makes you special? I don't know.
I don't know if we're special. We just makes things easy. We thought, you know what, everybody should be entitled to have a solution, to have processes to manage this risk. This shouldn't be limited to large businesses. So we thought we want to make something affordable and overall easy. Okay? And you know what? If you don't have anyone in house to take care of it, the good news is we can do it for you. So now what we see, we have company of all sizes that are asking our help and say, please take care of that for me and load me with that burden. And well, that's what we do. We have auditors here, we have experts in the field that are more than happy to assist companies.
In this matter of the expertise, because I think for this kind of industry, if you know, you know. If you don't know, you are kind of guessing. So would you say that you are actually 100% experts on it?
You know, in cybersecurity, in the field of cybersecurity and security in general and risk, I wouldn't believe anyone that say they're 100% expert because it's an ever evolving field. So what we do is we always bringing new people in, new expertise, challenging ourselves to try always to stay on the edge. But you know what? It's a never-ending story. It's always a fight of every day to understand what are new vulnerabilities or new laws. For example, we recently brought people in the team to tackle the ESG issue. So uh, basically sustainability and growth, right? Because ethical aspects and sustainability aspect is a big thing of a third-party risk management for many organizations. And honestly, it was a knowledge that was not in-house, so we had to bring people in. So that's what we do. We always try to stay on top
Yeah,
of the
evolving,
problem.
evolving with the risk, evolving with the industry.
Yeah, but that's what we like to do as well, you know.
No, no, but that's an amazing
I
culture,
mean,
to be honest.
it's what really what we like. So
Yeah. And what do you think is the future of the field? Where is supply shield going? Where are companies going? The threats are gonna be get bigger and bigger. AI is hitting as well. I think it will complicate those things, right?
yeah, it's a good question. It's hard to predict things right now. AI is evolving so fast that it's very hard to see where we're going. What we know is where the European Union is going, and often the European Union is leading the path in terms of regulations. So we have a new regulation coming up on AI. So what we know is we have to monitor AI. So that's one of the things where we are really working actively now to understand the ethical issues with the use of AI and how it's going to impact people, companies, and societies. So what we do with Supplier Shield as well, not only is to use AI, of course, because we try to use it in an educated manner, but as well, what we want is to understand what are the risks linked to the use of AI so we can better help our clients.
At the end, is to protect the user, to protect the companies. And you mentioned that you look at a lot about European Union regulations, but in my understanding, you are also a Swiss-based company, right? So is it different? Does it differ from what they are doing compared to Switzerland, since it's not part of the European Union?
Well, you know, we always say in Switzerland things change, but slowly, just as the mountains. So, um, Switzerland is always following up on what the EU is proposing, but this just takes a bit of time. We like to stay ahead of the curve. So, we have expert people in the team that are always monitoring what's happening in EU, in the US, in Africa, or in Asia to understand what are the trends, because that's the only way we can stay there. We have clients of all sizes. We also have clients that are multinationals. They have offices around the globe. Therefore, we need to be able to understand what are the challenges and make sure we can respond
Give
to
us
that.
the top three challenges that you see in the field, like in this right now.
It's interesting because the question I always ask our clients, so what are you facing?
Yeah.
And they always say the same thing. It's like we have too many suppliers. That's number one. And with too many, and it's interesting when I ask them, how many do you have? Most of them can't even tell me how many they have. And you see, that's one of the first steps we do. We help them understand what is the game, where are they, what is the field. Number one, too many suppliers. Number two, certainly the complexity of the requirements, the regulations. And that's also where we come and help understand that, helping understand what they need to comply with, where are the risks on that. The number three, I think, is the availability, the resource availability. Most of them don't have the people in house to do that.
Would you say that Supplier Shield was built based on these challenges to solve them, or was it a consequences of your expertise? How did you approach the creation of Supplier Shield?
Supply Shield was born from the mother company, Abilene Advisors. And Abilene Advisors is the company where we help organization comply with ISO 27001, the Information Security
Mm-hmm.
Management System, business continuity aspects, and data protection. And as we were helping our clients, to improve in maturity and doing a lot of risk assessment, we realized that every single time the supplier relationship management was a big struggle for them. So at some point we thought we have to do something about it. I mean, we're wondering because we thought, well, there were plenty of tools on the market, and they could do something. But there was always something missing. They would buy a tool and it would just sleep there, nothing will happen. And we understood that we had to do a little bit more than that. We had to make it easy. We had to help them through a process to be onboarded and most of all help them maintain that exercise because you need to keep it running, obviously. It's not a one-time thing.
Yeah. So would you say that is it a customer-centric business? Like your main priority is your customer, these businesses.
I think we really try to treat every customer as unique because I wish I could tell everyone, this is a template and just do that and that's fine. It's not the way it works. Everybody's different. Everybody has different risks, even if they are linked to third party, and everybody has different objectives as well. So yeah, it's up to us to make sure uh, they achieve their objectives. So we try to stay as close as we can from them.
And these companies, like as you said, they are all different. So in my understanding, that means that they are coming from different sectors as well. Would you
Of
say
course.
that are we talking to all the sectors or just to financial, healthcare, or what is your views on that?
It's really, really wide, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a lot of companies in tertiary, providing services. For example, some are providing SaaS solution.
Yeah.
Uh, some are just advising companies. Some are pharmaceutical companies. Some are producing luxury goods, for example. So they're all different, but in the end, they all have a supply chain.
Well, yeah. I mean,
So that's what it is.
yeah. And just last thought, if you have to give an advice to these companies that are watching us, maybe if they are small, maybe they are big, maybe they are medium, I feel that your knowledge, your experience, and what you are doing could really help them. So can you just give them an advice?
I'll tell them first it's never too late to get started because for most of them it's a very daunting task when they start looking at it. A lot of Excel sheets, and I will tell them, don't worry. There are ways to get out of the Excel. There are ways to get that under control.
Recover your life.
Exactly, recover your life. It's a very good point. That's where we're here to help. So really, yeah, just get in touch with us. We'll do our best.
I really appreciate the time you took with us. I think it was very insightful. I hope it actually helps a lot of businesses out there to understand more about what is going on, to understand why their suppliers are important, why they need to track these problems, and there is a lot of money on stake there. So if you guys can follow the advice of Alexi, please meet us another time. Thank you.
Thank you, Sebastian.